We're live.
Well, they also put it to you this way. It's kind of like, when I bought my AR-15, it's marketed, as you can shoot it at recreation, but it's really marketed for something else. So.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Astropub. Welcome to the captain's table here at the Astropub. I am Paul, Uzukura1, Batman Shelley. We have several members of the community here. Starting with the top of the table, we've got Z-Man, Commander Z-Man himself. Next to Z-Man, we've got Nighthawk Zale. Below Nighthawk, we have the ever-popular and ever-lovable Meyer.
Yeah.
The other head of the table, we have Gray-headed gamer himself. And last, but certainly not least, we have the one, the only, the man, the myth, the Miku, Clifford, a.k.a. Miku.
Yeah, and I'm happily positioned right underneath you because I'm fighting for them captain's table scraps.
Welcome. If you guys do not know what Captain's Table is, it is a Star Citizen podcast that happens every Saturday at this time, where I bring in several members of the community. It's always a different table every week, and sometimes the same recurring guests, but always different. We just kind of talk about Star Citizen. There's not really much of a script. We just kind of go on with what we got for the first hour, and then the second hour we take questions from you guys, the audience, ! Questions in chat. We'll bring that up. We'll do our best to answer them. We are not devs, but we will certainly pretend we are and give you all the official confirmations so that we can drive the CIG community team insane with all the concern threads, all of the concern threads. But starting off, I don't know. I don't really think there's been any news this week, right? There's nothing big that's happened.
Nothing that I can remember.
No?
Yeah.
No.
Pretty dead.
Yeah, dead. Trek Beyond trailer came out. I don't know if that's big news.
No, that's pretty cool. We're still waiting for No Man's Sky. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about 2.4, but I'm trying to be different and unique and not to be with everyone. But holy shit, 2.4!
Space Man!
Praise Christ Roberts, 2.4.
Actually feels like a universe now. You can buy stuff.
And amazingly working better than I imagined it would for the first initial release.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did have my head come off and become a camera at one point.
Yes,
that's pretty awesome.
Is awesome. It's always fun.
So it's PTU, and of course there are lots of bugs and lots of issues that we're going to come across, and it's going to have its moments where it's a little frustrating, but I have to say that I am really impressed with 2.4, and I'm kind of looking at this as the true birth of Star Citizen multi-crew, because we now have Starfarer in a flight-ready status, and while not all of the multi-crew positions are readily accessible, we can finally start trying to figure out who wants to be the engineer, who wants to be the first mate, who wants to take that captain's chair.
Okay, I'm just gonna say I managed to get half naked and still be in the captain's chair in the universe, and it took some sweet photos. That is when you're captaining like you're on a freaking GQ pose, just with the shirt open, you know. Twitch, please don't stop me. My character's nude, not me. It's kind of sweet. Like, I can't wait to just, let alone be able to not just pilot it, but be able to like have different outfits while inside the Starfarer. So you can be like, hey, that must be, you know, Z-Man. He's the engineer. I know him because that's his outfit. You know, rather than there's a random bald dude with a spacesuit on. He could be one of 24 people on this server.
Right.
And it's really nice to see as well, because like on the Starfarer being the main example, it has onboard airlocks. So it's nice to see that that's not something that we're looking at as just it needs to be there because it's a spaceship. It's there because it has functionality. You're actually going to have to change out of your onboard crew uniform, put on either a flight suit or armor, some kind of EVA outfit in order to actually egress from the ship and do whatever it is you need to do. That's really exciting. It's another level of immersive play, interactivity with what is essentially a game level that you control.
Yeah, I mean it's the size of like an FPS level in like a Call of Duty or something like that.
That it is.
And I love that they were showing the examples of what I like it when they go to the next stage of possibility, where when you open the airlock, things will get sucked out.
That was so awesome. I love that
and you will die
yes.
if you're not in a spacesuit. That's glorious.
Yeah. I think we've all been waiting for that since the original multi-crew demo, you know, where they had the constellation that came under attack and the missile strikes the side of the ship, and the guy who's in the cargo hold actually like ragdolls into the wall and goes flying, and then he has to get his mag. Oh, it was great. And we're finally starting to see that in game.
And honestly, I think it's better than that video was, because that video was really janky. It looked awesome, but it was janky compared to what we have already.
I mean, it was a test in pre-rendered footage as opposed to live in the moment in the game engine. So they had time to work with that. But now we're actually getting the real technical mechanics, the details on the back end that are coming into place, and in the next few drops, I mean, things are really going to get exciting.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the one thing that I think a lot of people, because there's a lot of people in the community who are kind of feeling like 2.4 is kind of a letdown. It's not really not a huge thing. Like I feel like they're like the people saying like I feel like I'll get bored of it in a couple of weeks. And the truth with 2.4 is not that it's an impressive, amazing, great patch. I think it is, but like I not that it's like the changing of the everything. It's the changing of the everything in the future, because this now opens up the like the entire field for like, hey, now we can just start putting features in. Like we've got persistence.
Persistence is necessary for every single thing from here on out. Yeah. So that's what it's all about.
Well, here's something that some people haven't, as far as I'm aware, haven't really even noticed yet. When you first walk out onto the flight deck on Olisar, you have that beautiful view of Crusader and then just open space, okay? And we're so used to it, we kind of overlook one detail. Crusader in 2.4 is a whole hell of a lot bigger than it's ever been before. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because they're getting ready to open up the rest of the Stanton system. And so they're getting Crusader to its proper scale in order to open up the rest of it.
Yeah, I've noticed that the asteroid field around Yela is much thicker than it used to be as well. It's a lot more filled out, which I know they're planning on doing slowly and eventually, so they could add more things like I don't know, maybe the Nix landing zone. in around Yellow. Just saying.
In yellow?
Just saying.
It's not a bad idea.
As a test, you know.
As a test, okay.
Because that's what I think a lot of people have assumed that, like, that's if they're going to do a Nick's landing zone because it's an asteroid, it has to be in an asteroid field, and the only asteroid field we have that's in the Crusader system is the yellow asteroid field. So,
no, that's not true.
Well, the
Actually,
ICC
think about it. Because, exactly, Meyer,
ICC,
what
you're
you're
right.
saying, the ICC probe takes you out to some random small asteroid field. So it could potentially be another location like that, where it is a random asteroid field out in the black, and only outlaws can actually locate it. So that could be the outlaw Olisar that everyone's been waiting for.
Outlawlessar.
Well, I mean, it's the outlaw. The outlaw can spawn. I can't wait for outlaws to be in outlaw zones, and
I'll shoot a face to go check it out.
Absolutely.
So I'll murder somebody for it. I'll murder someone for the privilege.
What, ticket to Disneyland? $700? No, shoot a face. Yeah, let's do it.
So Nighthawk Zale shot a man in Alisar just to
go to Disneyland.
Just go to Disneyland. All right. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. That makes me think of when we were talking about the airlocks and stuff. Like, if you're sitting there in the captain's chair, even on the Constellation, you're sitting there doing controls. If they add in the functionality to where you can open airlocks, if somebody's coming on board that you don't know, he's waiting to shoot you in the face, you can open your airlocks and suck them out if they don't have their mag boots on.
Yeah. For this explosive decompression. I love it.
Yeah.
And that also opens up the conversation to the upcoming upgrades to multi-crew, like ship systems, and the way that you can track personnel on board, the way that you can track cargo and what is open, where it's open, who opened it. All that stuff is coming, and that's really going to change a lot of gameplay. Eventually, we're going to start seeing E-War trickling in because we're going to need ways to get around this stuff too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need the piping system to be fully implemented before a lot of that stuff can happen. Unfortunately, I'd love for it to be happening quicker, but it could. I don't know. We could see it soon.
What I'm saying is we're past the point of laying the keystone. The foundation is now in place, and we're actually starting to build up the walls. We're starting to lay out the interior foundation of what is essentially the true project. So we're going to start seeing more stuff coming into place that are not only back-end necessities, but front-end mechanics that we can actually play test in order to have that E-War stuff in place. Like, we're going to start seeing the piping really soon. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I love that all those building blocks are actually falling into place. I mean, like, from this week's Around the Verse, we saw the Caterpillar stuff. And for me, what I found really cool about that was, of course, the fact that, using a panel in the game, he was able to open and close bulkheads and stuff like that.
Yes.
That was really cool. And imagine being able to have that kind of control in a panel or a Termfarer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be, like really, really awesome to have. And I think if it's there in the Caterpillar, then that means that it should be ready for
especially if you're getting holed up by, pirates and you want to eject your cargo to say, hey, here's the cargo, and get the hell out of there so they can do their thing on taking your cargo, basically.
Or lead them to an open airlock. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. One will hope that you'll be able to actually open and close airlocks and stuff like that in the Starfarer in the future. Very soon, because that's a really integral part. And I'd also like to see, this is just me, reading out my wish list now. But with the Starfarer, it's really awesome that we now have the Starfarer there. We have the two variants, the Starfarer Gemini that has, the massive CS missiles and laser tracking system and stuff like that. If you've seen the front of that Starfarer Gemini, it looks freaking amazing.
It looks like a beast.
It looks intimidating.
And
scary.
Well, especially if, when you go there to Cryo Astro, you got to refuel. I can't wait till they add the refueling mechanic on the Starfarer.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you think that would work? That seems like a very complicated thing because I've seen proof of concept and a pipe or a tube has to come out of the Starfarer, like how the planes in today do that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think what's going to happen is probably going to be something like that, and then what you're going to have is you're going to have a fuel port that will be on your ship. This is the reason why piping needs to be in. So once they have the fuel port in to the different ships, then you'll have either auto docking or you'll have you'll be able to slave your systems to the Starfarer, and someone on the Starfarer can manually.
Yeah, because they got that little catwalk that comes out with the panel where the guy can be right there looking below at the ship and saying, "Okay, I want to lock onto your ship and put it in a standard mode to where I can snake out the fuel tube to you and refuel you."
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm sure just like landing, when you actually request permission, your entire HUD changes the way it displays, and it gives you direction, and it shows you this is exactly where you need to be. Here's the safe zone. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something very similarly, where they actually have a little thing that points in the direction you need to go, and as you get up to the fuel port, the little circle is going to show. It's going to come over some crosshair or something similar, very simple, right there in the HUD that tells you you're lined up. And like Clifford said, the Starfarer is going to have at least one spotter on the
catwalk,
watching. You're going to have at least one, if not two personnel in the turrets that overlook the refueling area, because you got a spot. I mean, that's the perfect opportunity to strike, is when a Starfarer is refueling another ship. It's dead in the water. It can't do anything else.
What I'd like to see from that is, if you guys are familiar with the way KC-135 works, is actually a guy that directs the probes back to the aircraft as they're refueling. That would be cool, because that like creates a job for Starfarer guys to like fly around in the back and control that.
That's totally what I was saying. It's like probably need something like that. I actually had a friend who used to have that job in the Air Force, and it was
you almost have to actually fly the spout. It's got the little canard wings on it, and you actually have to basically fly the refueling pipe.
Yeah, so it's also definitely a team effort, because it's also you're flying it, and then the fighters themselves have to kind of work with you to try to like meet at the same point. So it's almost like docking in air, rendezvous and docking in air, which is a lot harder than it is in space, it seems sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. With zero G, you would think that. Well, other than you have to overcome forward momentum with reverse momentum or negative momentum.
But that you actually, I think you hit it with exactly the right word there, Berserker. Docking.
Yeah, it's docking.
I think until they figure out the docking system, and we can do the whole attach, detach with the P-52 and the Constellation, I don't know that we're going to get refueling, because it seems like that's going to be the exact same mechanic that they're going to want to use. Like, it'll kick into gear when you've got that whole proper alignment. Boop, last minute, done.
Yeah, it's essentially just docking a fuel port to your ship.
Just on a much smaller target.
I think with the Merlin, that will be a bit more simple, because with the Merlin, its HUD is actually laid out with that in mind. If you go into the Merlin seat and you look at the right-hand side, like when you look at targets and stuff like that, rather than just being target 1, target 2, target 3, it actually says dock 1, dock 2, dock 3. And if you target something with the Merlin, I feel the way you can land with the Merlin, I mean, like, the way you can auto land now with pads and stuff, I feel like if you're... That's weird, actually. I'm just thinking now how docking with a Merlin would work exactly. Would it be that the Merlin is just paired to a constellation, or would it be that any Merlin can pair with any constellation?
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense if any Merlin could pair with any constellation, because like, what if you're stranded out there in your Merlin, your Connie has like flown away, and now you're stuck in space, right?
Yeah.
You see, I think that's probably a two-part thing, where you're having to consider, first and foremost, physically, do the two hulls work? And the answer from the start would be yes, any constellation, any P-52, any P-72. However, the second thing is ownership and protocols. So there's going to be a point where we're going to be communicating by transmission of what essentially is IFF tags. ID, friend or foe. Who the hell are you? Do you belong to me? Do you not belong to me? You don't belong to me, you don't get to dock. Sorry.
So, okay, as a Constellation owner myself, I've had a lot of time to like look over the entire P-52 and Constellation thing. And I always thought that the most clever way that they could do it would be have something come down and grab the Merlin and suck it into the ship, so that like the Merlin doesn't actually have to do any of the work other than just fly up, request docking, and then it'll be up to the Constellation owner to say, yes, that's my Merlin. It's cool. We'll let him in.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good idea. I mean, and they've already lured in the concept of those micro tractor beam emitters for like the cargo containers. So,
Yeah, so it would just emit in front of it and pull it on in.
Yep.
Yeah, and in all actuality, there needs to be quite a bit of auto. Like, even when you're landing planet side in a main city, I think we're going to have like an auto landing sequence because, if not, it's just going to be a whole bunch of people flying into buildings. So,
Yeah.
All right, not to interrupt this conversation too much, but we thankfully the people at Redacted, Nubifier has graciously graciously offered to give away a HCS voice pack, and he will be giving away like 20 of them. Am I right, Gray?
yes. It's actually it's going to be an Orion voice pack with voice attack attached. So you're going to get the voice attack program and the voice pack together. That's the giveaway we'll do on the show right now. Mm-hmm. And then if I can get permitted, I have a link that I can shoot out. Oh crap! I did it too soon. Nubifier is giving away 20 more voice packs with voice attack attached on a video, and all you have to do is respond in his video with the name of the voice pack you'd like, and 20 voice packs with 20 voice attack programs. That's absolutely amazing. So if you want to do, I don't know if you want to do a keyword.
So this one's going to be a keyword. It's going to be, the keyword is, keyword is voice. And it's a Star Citizen HCS voice pack plus voice attack.
Yes.
Voice.
Which is super cool. And it's cool. Nubifier set it all up. It's brought to you by Redacted, but Nubifier is the guy behind it. He's talked with the guys at HCS and Voice Attack, and he's been on it. And the HCS guys are really, really excited about doing Star Citizen. They've already got 4 viable packs for Star Citizen, I believe. And one of them is already 2.4 ready. The rest of them are going to be updated very soon. So, and they're going to keep an eye on it, and they're going to redo it. Anytime the keybinds change, they're going to change the profiles, and you can just re-download them. Once you own them, you own them. So you just read-down the new profile, and it works, just as well. So, and it's amazing. If you have not used Voice Attack, you really need to, because it's I don't want to say it does simplify things, but it doesn't make the game simple. No. It just makes it much more immersive to me, because you would think our ships in the future are going to have an AI voice assistant. Think of Jarvis and Iron Man, or even Star Trek and stuff like that. You tell your computer what you want to do. Simple commands. You can't say, "Hey, fly really good and kill this guy."
Yeah.
We'll do that for you. But
how about
auto landing and stuff like that's great.
How about Merlin in Wing Commander? If we're going to talk about,
I guess that'd be a really good one to bring up, right?
Yeah, Merlin and Wing Commander. But yes, Cortana. Thank you so much from the guys at Redacted and Nubifier for setting this up. And then we've got a little something later too. Something from Clifford. Something really, really, really cool.
Super cool.
Super cool. So you should stick around for that one for the Q&A session. But continuing on, yes, you were saying flying things into buildings. I have a good question for you guys. Do you think that they're going to stick to the original, this is the area in which you land, you cannot go outside of this area? Or do you think with things like procedural generation for, they talked about using procedural generation for cities and stuff like that as well, outside of certain areas, do you think that we'll be able to land in an area and just kind of like explore all of Terra Tower and all of Terra that we can get our hands on?
I think it'll be set up in zones. When you're in a city zone, the way level design works in CryEngine, a lot of times you can't be in an area you're not supposed to be in because it doesn't look as right. It doesn't look good. There's going to be things that are floating in the air and stuff. So I think in the cities, you're going to have a landing area that you need to land in, and then you'll have procedurally generated parts of the planet that you can explore free. But I think, especially at the beginning, you're not going to be able to just fly around the city just haphazardly. It's going to be a dedicated flight path to land where you're supposed to land, and that's only because I'm sure further in development, they're going to have it designed where you can look at it from any angle and it'll be beautiful. But right now, if you glitch in ArcCorp and you get to an area you're not supposed to be, you can see how jacked up it looks. Some assets can only be seen from one side, and that just helps keep the polygon count down and make it run smoother. And when you put assets into CryEngine, you can actually put something down, and if you go around the backside, it's completely invisible because it's a one-sided asset, and that's just because there's no need to render that backside, because it's just taking up video memory and stuff. So I'm sure further along we'll be able to do stuff like that. But right now, definitely zoned.
Yeah, as Gray says, I mean, ArcCorp is a good example because that's a very tailored experience,
Yeah.
and it's designed for you to go and see it from one side and one perspective, and as soon as you go around, everything looks broken. In the future, once they go back to it and they start fixing actual cities and stuff, maybe perhaps you'd be able to go around the other side and it won't look as janked up. But how I feel that they would do it, and this is coming from somebody with zero game design experience whatsoever, but how I feel would work probably the best would be that especially in the procedural planets that have cities and stuff within them, is that when you're in just like like the procedural wilderness, you'll be able to fly anywhere you want because like you're not looking at anything from any like kind of like a tailored like perspective, and you can just do whatever you want. You can explore that kind of thing. But how I feel it will probably work is that cities will have this like dome of influence, and as soon as you go inside that, it'll tell you, warning, you are now entered controlled space. And then the same way planes in today have to go through like skyways and stuff like that, it'll basically say, warning, you are now in controlled space. Please use your blah 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 computer to enter this, to do what all the other ships are doing and flying the sky.
So like
otherwise you'll be shot down.
Like an air traffic control will be like, hey,
approach vectors.
Meyer test, you are entering Terra airspace. Please correct your vector to this area, and if you don't respond, they're like, all right, cool, we're sending fighters up, or we're going to shoot you down.
Think Cloud City.
Yeah.
When the Millennium Falcon was flying in, and they come in and they kind of escort him down and stuff. Same thing, and you're right, Meyer. You have to because it's a highway in the sky. It's just like you can't go on the interstate and drive wherever you want on any lane you want.
Exactly.
You might be going against traffic, and so yeah, absolutely. I think that's 100% how they have to do it.
But you think that we'll still be able to like we won't just have Area 18 of ArcCorp
that's true. I think you'll have different areas to land at, whether it's a warehouse district or if you're delivering goods to more of a cityscape, or you might be delivering, Astropub some booze to, a part of the city that has a bunch of bars and everything. And there might be a sector for you to land there to, for them to offload booze and other stuff. And then also, I think it's how they tackle the level of detail. Because depending on the level of the detail in the LODs, then they can really get the most out of the pixel count and also memory usage. Because if you're looking at, say, a four-sided building, well, they're not rendering so much on the other side until you're going onto the other side, and the other one's just mimicking the other side. So it's not giving you so high of a detail of the backside until you get around the other side, and then it just like kind of goes around it, basically. And then whatever you're not seeing goes back to a not-so level of high detail. Depending on the viewer's position.
Okay, so that makes sense. I was just because people had been asking me this question, and I'd always thought that essentially, like because I think Chris Roberts said that there would be that like a circle that you'd have to fly through, like that'll pop up on your HUD and be like, hey, this is your zone. Please come here to landing. But once you've landed, because of how they're doing the procedure generation, you might be able to explore all of the Area 18. Then you can just walk out to other parts of ArcCorp and explore a little bit because it's all procedurally generated, so you might see stuff in there and stuff like that. But you may not be able to there may not be a Kasaba outlet on the edge of town in bumfuck nowhere when you're exploring, but you'll still be able to hey, this is an interesting part of town, and maybe even hey, meet me at this random sketchy alley in this part of ArcCorp so we can do this deal, sort of thing. So
all I know is they're going to have to make the AI pretty tough. Because you're going to have guys that are going to rebel and try and go outside of the circle that isn't being rendered. And if security is going to keep them at bay, they're just going to team up against the security and we're going to go outside that circle one way or another.
Or they could do an autopilot. They could take control of your aircraft and say, sorry, you're out of control. We're taking control of your ship until you're back in the proper space lanes.
Yeah, no, and I something like armistice zones. Excuse me. But armistice zones and all sorts of security measures that they already have in place. So
they'll have some way, Z-Man, of taking us, out of the fun zone. You know how they are.
Never. There will never be a way to fully stop.
We'll find
no one can stop the Z-Man.
That's right.
Speaking of controlled experiences, though, how do you guys what do you guys think as they continue to refactor the persisting universe and tailor it to make it more of a game as opposed to a test bed? How do you think they'll make Port All-Star in terms of like having to have a controlled experience. Because if you listen to the overhead comm and stuff like that, it's like it says that landing pads are for takeoff only, and then they have this like special system in the game's lore that actually it's a valet system that brings the ship from wherever to land on the pads, and it says the pads are strictly for takeoff and not for landing. So I don't know, how do you think they're going to fix that issue? Because when you're out in a Crusader, half the time as you're looking around, it's not like 5 minutes. 5 minutes won't go by before you hear somebody exploding and crashing into a ring.
They're probably from Test Squadron.
I think what's going to happen is that Crusader right now is the Wild West because there's nothing really in place to prevent us from doing that kind of stuff. But in lore, Crusader is very much controlled space with very much controlled. So I think once we get the subsistence updates, when we have more AI control, we'll probably start to see a little bit more and I think that whole valet system is simply just right now it's a cover for systems that they'll put in eventually where they'll bring up your ship. Look, maybe even an AI will bring up your ship and park it. But there's got to be some sort of storage for ships and or landing zones where they can go to land your ships as well. Which, with their modular station system, that makes sense. They're going to be able to do that pretty easily.
If you don't mind, I'd like to chime in a little bit at this point. I actually did work in this field when I was in the Army. It was flight operations, so I worked base control and local airspace communications, flight planning, mission planning, weather report, all kinds of stuff like that. And the one thing above everything else in the Idris walkthrough, the Morrow tour that they gave us, was the fact that the Idris actually has a flight operations that overlooks the flight deck. There is going to be a crewman that sits there and controls the flight operations of that flight deck. Flight XYZ, you are cleared for takeoff. Flight 123, standby, complete your approach loop, clear your vector. By then, the other ship is taken off and they're clear to come in. That kind of stuff is going to be happening on ships. So it's I'd say it's almost safe to assume, because of the way that you can see here in 2.4, they're expanding on Olisar. Eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of a control tower that provided us a means within game to understand who we're contacting when we're requesting landing permission. And hopefully the system will recognize landing permission on pad A08, and whoever's trying to call a ship from Strut A cannot call in a ship to A08 because it's currently preoccupied by an incoming ship. And so the valet system would then take the ship that just landed, remove it from the pad, and all of a sudden, boom, there you go. A08 is now available for use again, either to call in a new ship or to land another ship. But I definitely foresee that kind of thing coming into play at some point.
Yeah.
Watch your vector, Victor. Roger.
Yeah. Honestly, I would be so happy to be the guy sitting at the flight operations desk on an Idris. I would spend a week streaming that, just calling ships in, calling ships out, making sure the airspace is clear, just doing my old Army job. That would be awesome. It would be really
So there was Kilted
Do I get to do my old Navy job then? That'd be awesome too.
Yes.
Kilted Frog used to stream a Microsoft Flight Simulator X when he was streaming regularly because he's a pilot. He does commercial airline flights, and he just did it because it's hey, this is what I do for work, and it was awesome. It was fun. It was fun to watch. So seeing that, never underestimate doing something that you know how to do very well and watching someone do that, because it's interesting to watch someone actually go through the whole Epsilon flight, you are cleared for takeoff. Beta flight, you are on standby until Epsilon flight is clear of the flight deck, and it kind of like that how quickly and how immediate the chatter is, and everybody gets it real quickly. It's like watching sim games with Arma, like Sim Nights, where people are doing full simulations with the radio control and call signs and all that kind of stuff. It's actually, I find it really fascinating. So I can't wait for something like that in Star Citizen to happen for sure.
It's a lot of fun to do.
All right, so 2.4, customization. Is it everything that you guys wanted?
It's a good start.
Yeah.
I concur. Good start. Yes.
Good start.
What he said.
Is there anything that you'd like to see in the future with customization, with in terms of clothing?
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is a good proof of concept, and it's super awesome to go in, buy some pants, buy some shoes, buy a hat, walk around and not look like everyone else. The port system is definitely very wonky, but it's an awesome proof of concept. And I'm hoping that everyone's playing right now, or everyone that's watching our streams and videos, realize that this is nowhere near being anything complete. This is a proof of concept. It just means it's working. Persistence isn't carrying through like it should yet. It's still, 10 to 15 frames per second in a lot of times. Bugs, but it's a proof of concept. It's just awesome. I was in the middle of a stream last night when it came out, and I was so excited I couldn't contain myself. First thing I did, die in an airlock, and then buy some pants. I got space cargo pants, and I was happy.
You a wolf?
I was that excited.
Yeah.
First time I walked out an airlock in 2.4, I had someone in underwear and a baseball cap come running through the airlock door right as it was closing.
I can make it!
Running through and immediately grabbed her. It was amazing. It was fantastic.
No, my first moment in 2.4, I booted it up, streaming. I walked downstairs, and there's underscore. Freaking CIG underscore QA guy, naked in front of me. Dancing in front of me naked. I'm like, God damn it, underscore. Oh.
Hey, he's working hard. You know how the CIG guys are.
Yeah, it's all about the fidelity and the immersion. He was testing the nudity mechanics.
Yes.
Well, I like angle mechanics.
I believe Captain Richard was an avocado, and he was testing the fart mechanics.
Yes, he was testing the fart mechanics. He
said it still needs work. It's a little buggy, but it's getting there. Yeah.
Did you say buggy or chunky?
Yeah,
maybe both.
Way too chunky.
I had a lot of fun last night, but it was so funny. I was getting some good treatment from Tyler because I was actually in chat with them with Tyler and underscore, and they were just really helpful with me because it was like, okay, it's like 1 o'clock at night. It's like, okay, I'm ready, because they were telling me, Tyler was like, okay, we're fixing to launch the patch for 2.4, the patch 4. He said, can you stay here for about 10 minutes? I'll be right back. I said, okay. So I was there waiting while they were going to push the button and activate the next patch. And then he comes back. He said, okay, I'm ready to walk you through it. So he was sitting there, and Tyler and underscore were, telling me about the new controls and what they did and the reasoning behind it. And there's going to be a big post about how they doing the keybinds and everything, because that goes in correlates with the voice attack packs and all that stuff. There's reasoning, but between the new key bindings and the FPS and the EVA stuff. So it's all going to come together, he said. It makes no sense right now, but it will once they, release that information.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
I mean, you can actually see it. And we talked about the port system a little bit. I think that the port system is better than the holotable, only because I can see where they're going with it. The concept that you have the Mobi-Glass, and eventually you'll be able to walk around with the Mobi-Glass and this point, click on that with my mouse, and then I'm going to change it to this, and then change it like this. That seems a little bit more. More immersive and easier than. But right now it's kind of. I would say it's probably as clunky as the holotable is right now.
Yeah, I would say it's only marginally better than the holotable was. It's less functional. It's more functional in some places, much less in others. With a janky holotable, you have the option to, at least with every single ship that's currently flight and hangar ready, take off bits and put things on, even though it's a bit crazy and you keep losing things and stuff like that. With the with this new port modification system, you can now walk around your ship. You can go, yes, this is my ship, and then you can go ahead and if in an Aurora, you can take off the guns and stuff and replace them with a list of guns, and it looks nice for the things that work, like the small ships. However, you need to be within 5 meters to see the actual port modification pip. So when you're using a large ship like a Retaliator or something, you're like, oh, where is it? You have to climb the ship to get to the ports, and it's a bit janky. But once they fix that, I feel like that'll work. You know.
I know that made me think about it, because I was trying to do that port system on attaching weapons. It's like, I was telling Tyler, this would be really cool that later on, if y'all have like a console that pops up and you select the points that you want on your ship, and then all of a sudden this side panel in your deal opens up and these drones come flying out and attach the weapons where they need to go, and then go flying back up, which would be really kind of cool.
Amazing.
To where you would see them going underneath, attach, and you can see a little bit of sparks where it couples to it, and then they go off, and then it closes. I said that would be a kind of a neater concept if later on, that's like way down the road, but that'd be kind of add to the immersion if you had these little drones come out and attach the weapon.
Yeah, I mean, we already have drones with the fixing repair beams.
Yeah. So here's how I kind of view the whole thing. It's kind of like getting up in the morning. The holotable was the nightmare we had last night. And the port modification system in its current state, so we finally managed to get our socks and shoes on, and breakfast is in our hand. But we're going to go through a few iterations. So, we're going to have to shave, and we're going to have to brush our teeth, and we're going to get out the front door, and port modification system is going to be looking fantastic as compared to what we're looking at it now. And then, like Bluesy0087 was saying, Grabby Hands is going to show up, and we're going to realize after we walked out the front door, shit, we forgot to put our pants on. Grabby Hands is going to totally change the game. You're going to call in your ship with the port modification system, perhaps, and you might change out the ship's loadout and get something like those drones coming in, or for all you know, all it's going to do is going to pull it out of a storage container, and then you're going to have to go to the storage container and with a little hover cart wheel it over, and you're going to use your Grabby Hands to put it up on the ship yourself and lock it into place. Same thing with ship components. You're going to have to go on board your ship. You're going to have to open up those access points, pull out the old piece, either fix it or grab the new one, put it in place. You're going to be doing it yourself.
Oh my gosh!
Grabby Hands is going to change it.
Oh,
I think port modification right now is just for ship modification is simply a halfway house until they refactor the holotable. And I think they mentioned that in the patch notes. So when the port modification system is actually there and is looking sublime, it's not actually going to be used for doing your ships. The new holotable and hopefully like a holo kind of
Mass Effect arm thingy.
Yeah, Mass Effect arm thingy. Mobilus, that's the one. Yeah, hopefully you could be able to use the holotable on your wrist, like you can do everything else. But yeah, it's like Eric McKedden says, too long didn't read. The port modification system as we have right now is not intended to be what we use in the future. It's more of a focus. It's more focused for changing things on your person, etc. The holotable and similar functions are still planned in the future for adjusting the ship. But yeah, right now, that's still a long way in the future, and I feel like the port modification system has a little things off with it. I mean, like we were talking about before, with the port modification system allows you to change a lot more things than you could do with the holotable, but that also means a lot of things that like you might forget, because you no longer have a list of things that are attached to your ship. You have to go to each individual port in order to see those things. So like after you've gone around your entire saber or whatever and you put everything there, you think to yourself, what was in that port? What was in that port? You just go, you can't. Mm-hmm. You can't remember what you've done for every single ship, and there's no list telling you what's where. I feel that's the only thing that's really off with it at the moment, apart from not being able to reach things on the larger ships.
Yeah, making sure you're not pulling the wrong thing in the wrong place, or make sure you have everything at the right place.
Yeah.
Now, the Buccaneer. We've all seen it.
Hey, how much does corn on the cob cost? Not a Buccaneer.
That's a good Ben one. who let Ben Lesnick in?
God damn.
Yeah, it's funny. It was my funniest tweet I've ever done. It was like my dad joke of the century. I was like, oh, this is gonna kill him. My dad jokes are strong. I don't understand why
your dad jokes game is on par. It's on fleek. Your dad joke game's on fleek.
Oh yeah, on fleek. That's right. I gotta be more internety.
Man, I am really, really, really excited looking at the Buccaneer. I know a lot of people don't like the Drake style. I love the Drake style, and having a Drake style ship that is like a Gladius or a Super Hornet or something along those lines, I'm okay with that. You know,
it looks like a Drake Saber.
Yeah, it's like a Drake Saber. It really does. It does.
Hey, I might be alone here, but I think it's fantastic. I love it. I don't know why, but I think it fits the Drake style. It's the fighter they always wanted, and yeah, it's like a saber kind of had sex with a warthog, and it's badassery, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also something slightly reminiscent of the Battlestar Galactica Vipers in it too, which talks to me quite profoundly.
I mean, with some of those scrambled images, it looked a lot like what was the X-wing version that was only that had the one wing rather than the two wings. There was it's an extended look.
What is it?
Something like that.
Y-wing? No,
Like that.
What was that?
I think the Z95 Headhunter.
Headhunter. Yes, the Headhunter. Yeah, it looked a lot like that at first because of where the engines were placed. So
I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So, but now it looks like a fat bug, which I like. It looks like a fat angry bug.
There's also something slightly Star Foxy about it.
Yes.
Just a bit, like an R-wing. Yeah.
I can see myself doing barrel rolls. Yeah.
barrel roll.
I don't know. It's almost kind of how chunky it is. It's almost like the Return of the Last Starfighter, kind of, because it had the real big engines in the back.
That's true.
They mentioned that it's going to be around the same size as the Cutlass is now. I remember them saying that.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty big. I mean, that's bigger than a saber. It's probably got the same size as a saber.
Looking at the cockpit though, I don't know. It looks more like saber size to me. Yeah. Looking at the like you can actually see the pilot seat in the cockpit and all.
Yeah, for reference, it looks a lot like size reference. It looks a lot more.
Yeah, it just looks like it has beefier engines to it, though.
Yeah. It looks
We're talking about the Buccaneer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, the Buccaneer looks like a Merlin-sized ship with, like, I don't know, Idris-sized engines. The thing looks badass, I gotta say.
It's a cockpit with engines and then some guns.
It's definitely got the Herald engine.
Yeah, it's like Harold. Harold with had sex with a Cutlass, and that was the bastard child that came out.
It's gonna be fun. I think that may be one of my favorite ships in the game so far because I love the idea of thrust overcoming everything else. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty badass.
I don't think that thing's going to be very maneuverable. It's probably not maneuverable at all. But it'll be fast. Racer. It'll be fast in straight lines. So,
if we're talking straight aesthetic, based on everyone's liking of the Buccaneer thus far, do we have high hopes for the Dragonfly then? Because they said they already have some basic concept artwork on it.
Oh, I think the Dragonfly is going to be like I think what the Buccaneer is in many cases is just like an upscaled version of the Dragonfly that they added some parts to.
I think it's you're
the
right on the
Dragonfly
mark.
is going to be a mini version of that.
So kind of seeing the cockpit, taking the canopy off of it, and then you take that section of cockpit, you put it right between the engines, and you get rid of everything else.
Yes,
and that's basically the Dragonfly.
With maybe one engine instead of two,
And guns. You definitely have to be able to kill stuff.
Yeah, well, they said it's a Dragonfly is more like strapping it on than getting into it. So.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking.
Oh boy. I'm not even.
Yeah, 10-foot pole on that one.
Well, if you guys are enjoying this conversation, please do hit exclamation point questions. If you have any questions for myself, any of the individual cast members, or the cast as a whole, we are here to serve. We are Mr. Meeseeks of Star Citizen.
I wonder if the Dragonfly would be a lot like kind of like the mech armor they've been talking about, where it attaches to yourself on your other armor, basically.
Yeah.
Like a Robotech suit.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I kind of see the Dragonfly sort of like those. What are they called? If you've seen the Halo cartoon movie, they have those like motorcycles, and they sit down in the seat, and it basically locks their armor.
Yeah. The like flight motorcycles. Yeah, I've seen that one. From Halo Legends or whatever it was.
Yeah, I kind of think that the Dragonfly might be like that, but potentially slightly shorter in body.
Yeah.
It's going to be really small.
A MISC ship?
No, it's a Drake ship.
All right, then you can scratch away the whole it being a mech thing because MISC is the space Japanese.
It's going to be. I mean, they call it a space motorcycle. I think looking at like the speeders in Star Wars is probably where they're going to get a lot of it because it really is a speeder. It can fly in atmosphere and yes, it can fly in space, but it can't go between them.
Actually, they said it couldn't do Atmo.
Yeah, it can do in atmosphere.
It can do Atmo, yeah.
It can do in atmosphere, and it can do in space, but it can't enter to atmosphere. It needs to be in a mothership to go into an
Got it.
atmosphere.
Okay.
Once it's in the
It
atmosphere,
can't do entry, but it can fly atmo or fly space, not in between, and no quantum. But my question is it gonna be like a Drake version of a Merlin? That like small snub, I guess, small snub fighter, right?
I guess it would fit into that class.
Yeah.
Yeah, not actually like a copy of, but that's what I'm saying, like a small.
But I mean, it's Drake, so Drake, they always go for the cheapest way to produce something as fast as possible, and that's probably why the wording from creators themselves is you strap it on.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of people utilizing that if you're on an asteroid and some of your friends are there mining and stuff. I'm going to ride to the ship real quick and get back some more tools to help fix the drill, whatever. And you hop on the bike and you bike your way back to the
It might also be good for like, hey, you're in a as an addition to your exploration ships, like the Carrack, like having that instead of the buggy might help, because having a couple of those, because like, hey, we can cover more ground and we can go in the air. We just need to land the thing and then go out.
Oh my God, space biker gangs.
Yes.
Oh my God, we can get like 15 of us together all on dragonflies.
Tunnel snakes rule. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, asteroids, space biker gangs. It's the only thing that works.
Well, you can see them coming out if you're, because eventually the racing is going to be within the verse, so you can see a bunch of biker gangs. All right, when that race car comes around, we need to deactivate him because we want our friend to win, so we can win all the money. And then all these bikers come out and they're like,
now I'm seeing like a bunch of of dragonflies parked next to my merchantman, for like biker night.
Yeah, this became a biker park.
Yes, I'm so down. Oh my God!
And then that one poor Aurora that bumps into to one of the
bikes,
dragonflies, and then it blows up.
It knocks them all over.
It probably won't be accidental, but
just when Test shows up, that's what's gonna happen.
That's right. You'll know when Test has arrived when all the dragonflies are tipped over, and everybody's asking to hang or tattoo the guy flying the Aurora.
It was funny last night, Astropub, when I was talking to Proxy and Tyler. I said when I first poured it in the Reliant just to take a look at it, its ass was facing me, of course, so you know where you would open up the back. When I was looking at it, I said, you know what this reminds me of so much? And they kind of laughed and said, you know what? We never thought about that, but now it does. I said, that reminds me of a DeLorean.
Yeah. Because
you see the MISC logo and it's like flat stainless steel. I said, that reminds me, that's a DeLorean. Mm-hmm. That's what a Reliant is. It's a DeLorean.
Hey, you know what really impressed me was the animations for the back end opening and the sound effects they have in for the Reliant is one of the best, I think, in game right now. That looks and sounds so flipping good on the DeLorean.
On the DeLorean.
On the DeLorean, yes. I
have a feeling.
Sorry. I was going to say it is the DeLorean, and I think it's very appropriate that the science version. I've always compared the science version of the Reliant as to the ship in Rick and Morty, like Rick's ship in Rick and Morty, because it really is. It's just a two-person miniature ship that's designed to like do science and shit, and it looks a lot like it with the kind of modularity, or like almost like a UFO in some cases.
Well, yeah, and it makes me really enthusiastic to see the news van version and the other ones. I think they're going to be really neat ships. I really do.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Dragonfly is going to be like the Merlin of choice for like the Caterpillar, seeing as they're both Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably have at least one or two on board.
Yeah, because you can see the both canopies open up and then all the bikers come out on all of the sides. You know.
Oh my God! Yes.
Honestly, I'm thinking of having 2 to 4 of them for my Endeavor Hope, because I think they would make for really great SNR support.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, mobile stretchers almost. If they could tow a stretcher behind them or something like that.
To
bring them back.
If you've got a crew that's already picking up from a debris field and you've got bodies and not enough room aboard a Cutlass Red, say, I mean, you can individually shuffle people back aboard the Hope. Yeah. Try and get them into the ER quickly.
It really makes me want to do, like, I could see Tess probably pulling something like this off, is like take an Idris, for example. Got a big hangar. put a bunch of the dragonflies and merlins in it, and then if you're in a battle, all of a sudden you say, "We don't got no hornets or nothing." You open up, and all these like bees come scattering out everywhere.
Bees,
Ender's Game style.
It's like that scene in the new Star Trek where all those little pods stream around and blow and everything.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
it's the trailer. I mean, come on, it's hard to spoil
in case you haven't seen the trailer. Spoiler alert.
I never watched trailers, to be fair, but yeah.
Actually, watched.
Oh right, yeah. You don't watch trailers anymore. Are you going to make an exception for that rule with Squadron 42, Meyer?
With Squadron 42, I'm going to have to because I can only I suppose. As an avocado, they're going to ask me to test some Squadron 42 things before they come out. Hopefully, they won't spoil too much of the story, but I'm going to have to drop my rule of never watching trailers and like spoilers for things like that. But yeah, I mean,
well, are you going, Meyer, to SitCon, right? Or are you?
I hope
you're going to try. Well, if you go, I mean, you definitely. I think they're going to release a trailer probably at the SitCon. Or at least a snippet of it. Not too much to spoil it, but just enough to give you.
I'll just close my eyes like
if they may even release. Well, probably not in time. That probably won't be when they release the actual game, but it could be. Because that's around the time when you normally see a game that's released for a winter release. That's in like October, November. Probably.
I mean, I could see them making a trailer for Squadron 40, kind of like when they showed Mark. When they showed Mark Hamill, Mark Hamill when they were opening up the Idris and they're flying in, and he's just getting there fired up. Even though that's just a small snippet, that was more than enough for me to get all excited, like, yeah, I can't wait to fly with Batman right there, So yeah, it could be even that short. That would be plenty for me. Especially if they're just showing quick cut scenes of what's her name from X-Files, and just cut into little small snippet scenes of them. Just seeing the actors do their thing. Oh my God, that would do it for me. Just little tidbits like that would just
And I think that's what they'll do. Teaser trailers is what it's all about until the game comes out. Now, when the game comes out, they'll release a big full-length trailer.
Yeah.
Little teasers, and do like maybe a month before, do one a week. A teaser, highlighting one main character or something like that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, like Mark Hamill arguing with one of the guys, and it's just a short little snippet of what's to come. I mean, they even showed us when the two actors were acting like the Vandal, and they were putting the key into the kingship and turning it. They might show a little scene like that just to show off the aliens and get you all psyched up to see more Vandals and stuff like that, I think.
So get in
the only good Vandal is a dead Vandal, by the way. Just wanted to add that.
The Astropub. Oh, it's the Astropub. Sorry. The Get in My Belly asks the Astropub, or says the Astropub, they have said that they have a Star Wars pre-roll ads secured, so they do have that. I have been saying they should do that, and Gray and Clifford can confirm that. We talked about that on Starcast a year ago.
Yes, we did.
That were like that's what they needed. They needed to do a Squadron 42 trailer before the next Star Wars, because that's what Elite Dangerous did before this Star Wars, and it worked very well to get a lot of people excited about it.
And we got Mark Hamill. Yeah. Screw Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, all you had to do was Mark Hamill walk out and be like, "What, you expecting someone different?" Squadron 42, and then bam, I have lines.
Mark Hamill has such a good humorous personality about him. I could see him doing a scene just like he did in some of his tweets, where like one of the soldiers is wounded and he's carrying him like he was carrying Yoda. It's like, this reminds me of something.
Oh, that would be glorious.
Hilarious.
Oh man. I have lines in this one. Yes.
Right. I tell you right now, Mark Hamill is a man's man. He is famous beyond famous, especially for guys like my age. I grew up wanting to be Luke Skywalker, above and beyond anything else. And my dad even knows this. I love my dad. I've always idolized my dad, but I would rather be Luke Skywalker than anyone ever. And that's rode with me my entire life. And to find out that he is such a cool guy.
Yeah.
Like when they asked him, Star Wars or Star Trek, he said Star Citizen. And it was to not piss off his, the dueling Star Trek and Star Trek guys, but also because this is the thing right now. This is the new thing. This is the cool thing, and he's so into it. Him and Chris Roberts are buddies, so I could definitely see him.
Yeah, and it breaks him. it breaks him out of that stereotypical mold that that it shows that, hey, I acted. Many people have forgotten the games that he acted in. It said he can do a lot more than just Star Wars and sci-fi.
Right.
I
A
mean,
lot of
he's
people
the
don't
Joker.
even know he's the best Joker in the world.
Yeah,
I was telling
Trickster too.
I was telling my boys at work, and they're like, "He's not Joker." I was like, "Dude, he is."
He's the Joker you grew up with. He's literally the Joker you grew up with. He's the Joker in the Batman animated series, and he's been like almost every Joker in every series since
He's
then.
the best Joker. Period.
Well, it's the same with like Peter Cullens in Optimus Prime. Many people don't know he played Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh and a bunch of these other plays. He's a great voice. These guys have even not William Shatner, but Leonard Nimoy before he passed away. He was Galvatron in the Transformers. Many people didn't even know that he was Galvatron. And so it's like these voice actors are really, or these actors are really talented in the voices that they can pull off.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people say, "Well, Mark Hamill hasn't done nothing since Star Wars."
He's been in so many things.
Actually, most people don't even know that was Leonard Nimoy's second time voicing Transformers. He voiced the Transformer in the original Transformers cartoon movie as well. So
Yeah.
been doing it for a while.
All right, so I'm gonna do this this draw right now. If you guys win, whoever wins this HCS voice pack, please do message the Noobifier.
Yes.
Noobifier. So Noobifier, say something in chat so people can message you. Yeah, DJ Knight goes, how did they not know he was the Joker? Like, seriously, how does someone not know that he was the Joker?
And what's crazy, they were all adults I was talking to, and I was like, "You guys remind me of my kids. How could you not know this?"
Weird.
Alrighty, so the winner of the HCC point pack is is Ramar. Congratulations, Ramar. Message.
Ramar, nice.
Ramar.
Message.
He's a friend of a good friend of Star Citizen streamers, and definitely my channel, man. So congratulations, Ramar.
So rigged.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
Message the Noobifier. Message the Noobifier. The guy who said hello up there. Noobifier 1337. Give him your information.
DJ.
And DJ Knight is here. Another. He was on the cast last.
Yeah, and underscore too. I just noticed.
Oh, great. Party's
great.
over.
Oh,
Underscore's
fuck.
here.
God damn it. You
Well,
know.
At least underscore's only in chat. We don't have to look at him in his underwear.
Oh, hey, underscore, my bulge was bugged in the last patch. Need you guys to check that out, please.
Let's so many before we get Sophie Girl, DJ Knight, underscore. I'm sure Fastcard's here. I'm sure we have Captain Zylo, I'm sure, is lurking somewhere.
Supreme Tokyo's here as well.
And there's Proxys. Yeah, Tokyo. Everybody's piling in.
Everyone's
hey,
here.
all the cool people are here. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants at the Astropub.
And if you guys do enjoy this, please do retweet the stream if you can. Let me see if I can't put it. RT should be retweeting the stream, but that might be the wrong one. But anyways, yes, please retweet the stream. Get more people in to hang out and talk, because we're going to right now go into the question and answer session of the stream. And Clifford has graciously offered to give away a copy of No Man's Sky.
Oh,
You could
awesome.
win a copy of possibly the hottest space game of the summer here at the Astropub on the captain's table, courtesy of Clifford, aka Miku. So
Yes.
I just gotta say, like, this is the first time that I got to talk to a bunch of these guys, like, in the flesh, and you guys are just amazing guys. I gotta say it. You really are. Clifford, like, he seriously gives away the awesomest stuff, and, like, Grey Headed Gamer, like, makes the best videos. Myra is always, like, pawning me on stream, you know, like, shooting me down when he's in Auroras. And it's really been awesome to be here. I just sorry, I got to speak up and say thanks, guys, for letting me participate today. I really have enjoyed it so far.
no problem.
well, thank you. And don't forget, the most level-headed Star Citizen is also here, Mr. Nighthawk Zale.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you ever go to one of his streams, he is the most level-headed guy you'll ever watch, and you'll go away going, why do I feel smarter all of a sudden?
I don't know. Every time I listen to Nighthawk, I feel dumber. Like, damn, why didn't I know that?
That's kind of how I feel when I listen to it.
I'll tell you right now, every time I leave, I'm always like, I'm going to go do a math test. I don't know why.
I feel stupid. I need to do something better. Yeah. I
Next
don't
week,
read a
quantum
book.
physics.
Yes!
Alrighty, so Enter right now, ! Clifford Rocks, if you would like to win this No Man's Sky game. Thank you again, Clifford. Thank you.
That is so awesome.
No problem, Astro. Now give me my table scraps, man.
Guys, I got a quick question for you, just because we're talking about No Man's Sky. How would you categorize it? I know that it's a single-player game, but in a lot of ways it's really not, because you can travel to locations that other players have found, and it'll actually have the player's name as the discoverer. It will have the titles that these people have placed on items, places, things, living objects. So how would you categorize that? Do you consider that in some form multiplayer?
I would say it's like Elite Dangerous's offline mode or solo mode. It's technically online, and the online aspects affect it, but it's not multiplayer in the traditional sense where you can be able to play with other people.
So there's no player interaction whatsoever.
Didn't they say that the probability of you interacting with someone else is like astronomical because it's such a huge universe, but everyone is in the same universe? Like you could actually come across a planet someone else has colonized?
Yeah, what it is because I've watched every videos hundreds of times. That's what I do mainly at work when I'm working. I'm already watching a lot of No Man's Sky because, whenever Sean Murray came on scene and first at the VGXs released that, and I was like, okay, that is my second go-to game other than Star Citizen, because Elite Dangerous is a lot of fun and everything, but I don't know, to me it didn't. No Man's Sky has captured me in a way of, wow, it's like now they're putting me out of real life in a game that I can do like I want to do in real life, is go to planets that nobody's been before and actually see new things, and it be not as too complex, something that I can just pick up and play real easily, like Minecraft is a good one. But the way they've talked about the multiplayer is, first of all, me and Prox has always thought about this. Okay, they throw you, this galaxy is not like a spiral arm galaxy. He's already said that. So you're flinged at the very outskirts of it amongst the other players. There's 18 quadrillion planets. So as you're going towards the center, you're grouping together closer and closer. So I'm thinking when you get more near the center, the probability will go up, but it'll still be astronomically high to run into that person. But also, like you said, there's going to be a galactic map. You're going to see where people are naming things if they choose to share that information amongst the collective. So you might see a planet that's way over here that maybe is not too far for you to go to visit, and you can visit it and see them. But like he's right about this. You can be on the same planet at the same time with another person, but it's planet size, and there's no way to communicate with that person saying, I'm on this spot, on this rock. It's going to be so rare to run across. And I think once you're in the center, and depending on how, just throwing this out there, if they put the atlas like in the center and everybody lines up in the front of it, then kind of a point to be at. But if you're on a planet-sized planet and there's no way of tracking a person, which there isn't, as what they've hinted at, then it is going to be really, really hard to find that person. Unless you say, hey, or I'm going to be in this space station, and they might happen to be there at the same time. Unless you're, happen to be really lucky, you're in Discord with a group of friends, and you find out that, Meyer, you're only a couple thousand planets over that way. We can kind of start coordinating to meet in the middle, and then we can coordinate, hey, we're going to meet in the, what do they call them, the space station, because there's only one space station that spawns in a solar system. So that would be your point that you could probably meet up. But I'm thinking a lot of us are going to be spread so far that that it's going to be nearly impossible. But Sean Murray has said, yes, he knows people want multiplayer, the traditional where you can go into lobby or some way to say, hey, if I go on this planet and I go into this portal, which they have portals, and it will port me into this menu to where I can say, okay, go to this planet, this is where he's at. But he said he wants the game to be played as it was intentionally visioned by his team, what he wanted it to be. Once people start getting to the center and everything, he said, then I'll start listening to the feedback, and if it's really popular, then yes, we'll put in those features. We'll add feature sets, he said, because we don't want to put any DLC, anything like that. We want to add more feature sets that people want, whether they want more items that they can build with, more this and that. He said, but he wants everybody to play the game as it's intended.
So it's sounding to me like No Man's Sky is like a really, really, really massive scale version of. I don't know if you've heard of this PlayStation 3 game called Journey, where player interaction is strictly transient.
Yes, and that's how he highlighted that. He highlighted akin to Dark Souls and how you interact with other players, where you're like the silhouette, but you're helping them, and the same as that other one. He said it's kind of akin to that.
Yeah,
it is not in the sense of your traditional multiplayer, but you will see players make an impact on the world around you.
Right. That sounds really cool. So there's not going to be any console to say hi if you're right next to people. It's strictly going to be like in Journey, it was like if you happened to see somebody in Journey, you press the button and your character kind of like made a singing note, and that was about it. And you could like make singing notes to each other and like go and do your Journey thing.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be kind of like that interaction. But he said if you get in that moment, he said it's going to be super rare because you're going to be the first ones to see each other what y'all look like.
That's really cool. And then you'd have to kind of like
you like push into the guy, like shove him around and stuff. Like, hey, I'm trying to communicate with you.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, they'll see what you look like. Then you have to hope that, they know who you are so they can take a screenshot of you so they can then say, that'd be really cool, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, there is alien races in there. There is aliens, NPCs you'll run across. Right. So you'll get an idea of what the different races look like. So if you see something, like, totally out of place, then that's probably another player.
Turns out the player models are just bowls of spaghetti. That's what you are.
Just replace me balls. They're all just replace me balls. It's just red replace me balls.
But that's the only reason why I'm really excited. I'm hoping that the procedurally generated system is as really a mixed bag of, I don't have any doubts that the planets that become built by the engine and by the algorithms look really gorgeous. I just love the fact that I'm going to be going to planets that probably nobody has ever seen, nobody ever will. And any stream that I go to, whether it's Myers stream, whether it's Greyhead stream, whether it's Skyhawk, I'm going to see something new and exciting, and we'll be able to share our adventures. And that's what I like about it, that explorers will get to share different experiences.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good game for people who enjoy semi-first-person experiences.
Yes.
And but you have to kind of like that. So it's not a game like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen in that it's designed to be around multiplayer. It's designed to be more of a single player experience. But that's not to say you won't have multiplayer experiences with it. So
down the road, yeah. So I think they are hitting an itch for me that hasn't been scratched, which is a more traditional 60s, 70s sci-fi back into the out there, of Clark and Foss and their ships, and just the beautiful color palettes, and not so high fidelity and very intricate. It's more of that kid's imagination.
Mm-hmm. More of a like a we're exploring space like Buck Rogers rather than
yes, exactly like that. It scratches the old classic sci-fi.
Yeah.
And Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the play style of the game sort of like Everspace in that it's rogue light? So you could die and just kind of keep going?
Yeah, what it is what happens is on planet side, okay, if you're out farming and you're, farming your minerals and whatever, and you die and you haven't uploaded your information or stored on the ship, and then you'll lose any of those discoveries or anything like that. You'll spawn close to your ship again, and then you have to do it all again, because he said that there's these hubs that you gotta upload your data to the Atlas to be able to save it, or go into an NPC shop. There'll be a little like old school hollow table, whatever, you get into that and you'll save your game. But like if you're in space, it will either, if you're in a solar system, it will spawn you back on the what they call it, spaceport or whatever out there. It'll spawn you there, but you'll lose a lot of whatever you might have mined at that current point if you didn't save it or sell it or whatever. But it's not like a very Death of the Spaceman kind of thing. You do lose some stuff, but you won't lose your new jetpack suit that you've upgraded, or your new gun, your multi-tool that you upgraded, or your ship. You won't lose that, but you'll lose some of the items you might have gained between there and there if you haven't uploaded or sold it or saved it.
Okay.
So there's PvP?
Nice.
With
only
with
sorry,
the NPCs.
There's combat. Sorry,
Yeah.
there's combat.
Yeah. There's combat with NPCs. You can join a pirate org. Like there's NPCs out there. There is. He said there is a lore. There is factions, and they will be propagated amongst the map. Some alien cultures will be friends with others, and if you befriend them or help them during battles, they will remember that, or they will allow you to get wingmen to fly with you where you go.
That's cool.
And I even heard, and this is just a rumor, I've heard that there's even eventually maybe a possibility that you can get your own freighter ship. Like you won't be able to fly that big of a ship, but it will tag along with you, and you will be able to store goods on it that you've collected. Supposedly, but that's just another rumor that's been heard. But there's so much that we don't know about the game because they want it to be like that first time you stepped into Minecraft. You have to learn about the world. Just like if you're this first explorer, you don't know nothing. You only have your multi-tool, a ship, and a ship that doesn't even have hyperdrive that you have to build up and eventually go beyond. That's what I like about it.
Alrighty, so we got some questions here from the community. The first one is not GHG. What is this 2.4 thing you speak of? It is a land of sunshine and unicorn farts and
we shall call it this land.
And we shall call it this land. Next
Sorry.
one.
I try to be first every time.
Yeah. Humane Evil 51. Hi guys. What's your opinion on the claim that voice attack is cheating?
Bullshit.
No, it makes things simpler. It is not cheating. You still have to fly your damn ship.
And it's actually, in some cases, it takes longer to use voice attack than it does normal buttons.
Here's what voice attack is perfect for in Star Citizen. Ship, lights on. All right, so I didn't reach down and press the light button, but I turned my lights on with my voice. And when you're flying, you can lock on targets, you can match speed, and you can concentrate on firing on somebody. It's the future. We need to have this because it's the future.
Yeah, I mean, we had the clapper since the 80s, so we should have like voice commands, right?
We have voice commands with like our phones now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think of Siri in hundreds of years.
Yeah,
even PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation 4 on and turns on. It's just a lot of it's going to voice communication, and it even helps a lot of people who might be disabled a little bit. There's people who are playing a lot of these games that might only have one arm, and this might be a help to them to
also,
be able to play.
Some people who are playing with controllers because they prefer the controller scheme over anything else, and they'll need to have more button mapping, and the best way to do that is to have voice attack. So
going off of what Clifford said, Leet Feet is a perfect example of that. He's a citizen backer who doesn't really have use of his arms. They're not necessarily fully developed. So he actually plays the game with his feet. He plays the game with his feet and with voice attack, nothing else. And I'm telling you right now, if you come across him, he will blast you out of the sky before you can finish scanning his name. He is damn good at what he does. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's using voice attack. He's good because he knows how to use his feet. They are his manipulators, and he can do what he needs to do with the keyboard. He can do what he needs to do with the mouse. He can do what he needs to do with his peripherals. The thing that makes voice attack so nice is that in his case, he can't necessarily hit some of these macro keys, like the Control G for, well, it's not Control G anymore, but gimbal lock. Some of these key combinations. It's not a possibility, but voice attack allows you to just say gimbal lock, and automatically the gimbal shuts off or the gimbal turns back on. It's not so much that it's a cheat. It's about making the use of your ship more of a convenience. He's still up to you. If you don't have the skill to survive a dogfight, voice attack is not going to do you a damn bit of good to survive that dogfight.
Nope.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
No, and so I think. Go ahead, Meyer.
I was just going to say, it's definitely not cheating. Accessibility, yes, definitely. Immersion, yes, definitely. Ease of access, yes, definitely. Yeah, you can do some things that might be a bit more complicated if you have the time to do it, like, press 3 for 2 seconds and then 4 for 5 seconds. But then if you're quick with your hands anyway, you can do it anyway. But it's kind of cool immersion-wise saying, computer, initiate configuration alpha, and then it goes ICER, and then it makes your shields go up and your thrusters go to full and stuff. It's just... It's for fun.
I think the only thing I disagree with you on it is a little immersion breaking, because I think 900 years from now we should have mind attack, not voice attack.
Mind
and just
attack.
it happens. You know.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
you need to
and,
patent that.
Yeah.
and for,
Yes,
for all you know,
I'm on it. I'm on it right now. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to patent Mind Attack. So if you guys want to enter to win a Mind Attack pack,
so this is possible because there are technologies out there right now that actually scan human brainwaves and respond via computer commands to that. They actually, the newest way that they're using these headsets that track your brain, they're figuring out how to allow people to drive vehicles with nothing but a headset on. You don't have to use a steering wheel. You just have to think, turn left, and the vehicle with those auto sensor systems that they have in the driver-free cars now, that and your voice commands, and it takes care of everything for you. And it's ridiculous.
There's video games you can play with your brain, like that they've been able to do, where like people control a character on a screen with just their thoughts.
Yes,
we're heading towards the realm of like sci-fi, anime, fantasy games that you can play with just a headset, sort of thing, for sure. But we're gonna be a while off from that. But yes,
Sword Art Online is coming eventually.
Yes. Just make sure, just please God, don't make it have a microwave inside of it, so it'll fry your brain.
Oh yeah.
Nerve gear. I want a nerve gear. Give me the nerve.
Yeah.
With the plugs.
All right, next question. No name. What is the ugliest ship at the moment, and why is it the Buccaneer? No name. You've
like
been
a
so
bug. They're
brave
cute.
to not to. Yeah, it's a bug. It's a giant cute bug that will rip you in half. The thing is that Drake has never been a aesthetically pleasing ship manufacturer. They've always been we'll throw things together and see if it works kind of thing.
industrial. But I actually like industrialized ships like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Like the Reclaimer. The Reclaimer looks all industrial. That looks really good.
I think that's actually a really cool aesthetic to me. I've talked about this a lot between like the Hornet and the Saber, and like the Hornet to me just looks like a fighter that you would see in a war, and the Saber where it looks more like a more industrialized revolution kind of modernized fighter. Where and Drake kind of has their own thing going on where they're a little bit more on the Russian side if we compared it to today, so I dig it. I don't know what they're talking about that it's the ugliest ship in the game. I mean, the Aurora does look like a brick.
The Aurora is beautiful, and you've not talked shit about the Aurora.
Yes,
it is the bestest ship in the game.
And just think we haven't seen the redone of the Aurora yet either.
Yeah,
That's true.
The Aurora looks like a spaceship. That's what I love about the Aurora. Even though it is a tad boxy and all, it looks just like a spaceship would look.
Yeah, I love the Aurora. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm saying it does look like a brick, though, right?
Lies the way that bricks don't.
Or a metal coffin, one of the two.
One of my friends, the guy who came up with the term "bang stang" for the beta, he likes to call the Aurora the noob coffin. Because it is shaped like a coffin.
If
you even lay down in it like a coffin.
If you think about it, it's got that lame bed in there. So
it pretty much that's an accurate description.
As Super Serious is talking about, the Buccaneer looks a very thrown together Rebel Alliance look. Yeah, it does. That's some of the scrambled images actually made it look like a headhunter or an X-wing almost, and it has that kind of like, hey, we're gonna throw it together. This is totally not a ship that's designed for fighting, but now it is sort of situation.
Yeah, that was actually my very first comment when I saw the Buccaneer today. I thought it had a feel like some of the engineers at Drake went to the local junkyard, grabbed whatever they thought looked like it was in best condition, and tried to rebuild a Saber.
Just think of the Millennium Falcon.
Scrappy challenge.
Scrappy badass ship. It might look scrappy, but it's got it where it counts. Like
I honestly think that the Drake engineers, the Drake design style is like Drake says, okay, we need to make a constellation. And everyone's like, we're not making a constellation. It's RSI's got that thing on lock. And Drake's like, nope, we'll do better. Instead of having to make all these fancy interior modules for all these different versions, we'll just stamp out different compartment modules that are all the same shape and size, so we just can mass produce it and then just throw them together with the rest of our stuff. I like the Drake aesthetic and because their engineering style, because it feels very America World War II-esque. Like
It's very utilitarian.
Yeah, we're not going to build a Tiger tank, but we'll build 1 million Sherman tanks. So so for every one of your Tiger tanks. So we may lose 100 Shermans, but your Tiger tank is going to die, and then you have no more tanks, and we still have several 100,000 tanks left, sort of thing. I like that. I like that kind of style. It's like, well, we're just going to make it cheap, rugged, and utilitarian.
And so far, Drake's the only one that they've talked about, especially with the Caterpillar come out, that has those pods that can launch people out of it.
The
very front of it.
If they keep that,
I hope they keep them. I really hope they keep them.
The man
Human
cannons.
torpedoes confirmed.
Yes.
No,
I'll call it the plank. So like whenever you get somebody you don't like, you say, walk the plank and then fire them into the sun or something.
I don't know if anyone else has thought of this yet, but if the Caterpillar gets to keep the man cannons in the salvage module, right now, I'm letting everybody know we are going to start man cannon racing. You have to get one of those upgraded EVA suits that have like the special thrusters specifically for long-term EVA, and you have to go from point A to point B after being launched out of that sucker. And you
I bet we could figure out how to stick our space motorcycles into one of those man cannons. And I bet you
fire it out.
Yeah.
Or actually, even better, you have to. It's a 2-part race, so you have to get fired out of the man cannon, and you get to a certain point where the EVA suit dies on you, and that's where you pick up the Dragonfly and keep going.
Yeah, it's a Star Citizen triathlon. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Can I just say, man cannon is a great word. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Myra.
Yeah, no, I've loved the term man cannon ever since I heard it. It was first used from my experience in Halo 3, where there's literally a
Man cannon.
a man cannon. It's just like a thing that shoots people out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So it would almost be like the Star Trek thing where Kirk and
exactly.
and Khan are flying. That's
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Badass.
Or in the first Star Trek movie where they're like flying out of the ship towards the planet and everything to try to get onto the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that the Drake ships really do fit a really, really good niche in the whole Star Citizen universe. I mean, like, you have all these, like, look at the Revel in York hangar. You're pretty much walking inside a giant iPad. It is so clean future. And then, like, Drake just punctuates all this, like, really clean aesthetic with very rugged, utilitarian, used future. And I think it's really nice. I just love Drake, Drake's good.
It is nice because it gives you such a different feel and aesthetic, and a lot of the different manufacturers do that. Like I kind of look at MISC like the Star Trek ships of Star Citizen, whereas Drake is sort of like the ships from Alien or Star Wars. And then you've got RSI, which is kind of like Battlestar Galactica, Babylon 5 type deal. So everyone has their own unique sort of style and feel, and it's wonderful to have, because I tell you right now, if I come across a derelict Starfarer, I'm not going to be creeped out. I'm going to have a little bit of a concern that it's 4 decks that I have to sweep before I can recover the ship, but I'm going to be a whole hell of a lot more creeped out if I have to clear and sweep a derelict Caterpillar.
Yeah.
You don't know what's aboard that thing.
I don't know.
The way it looks, powered down. Come on. No, that's...
I'd kind of be freaked out with clearing and sweeping an abandoned Starfarer. That comes off as being very alien-esque, like walk around the corner and there's like a freaking, because I mean the Starfarer looks like the what was the ship in Aliens?
Nostromo?
The Nostromo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it looks a
Nostromo.
lot like the Nostromo in terms of a lot of the aesthetic features and stuff like that. So I keep thinking, like, there's going to be an alien around this corner. There's going to be an alien around this corner. All right, so next question. From Mammon, what roles do you think the second seat will play in the Reliant variants? Is it just a passenger seat in the is it just a passenger seat in the core?
No, I think you're going to be able to do that with the having running the shields and stuff, just like any other ship, right?
Meyer?
Well, yeah, the pilot seat's on the left-hand side, and that's strictly the pilot seat because it has the joysticks on either side. On the passenger seat, you have right in front of it, you have this blue arm that sticks out, and that's like a probe. And the fact that the passenger seat does have a screen that comes down in the core, I'm guessing that probe will be like a long-range scanner that the passenger seat will be able to to utilize. Nighthawk?
No, you're going right along the same track that I was going with, and it's quite intriguing because I took a lot of time looking at that cockpit. The left hand seat, like you said, it has the dual flight sticks for the flight controls, and it's got 5 panels, one large one with 3 readouts on the front that fold down, and 2 on either side that fold down. So you have full command of the ship right there. The other side, it's got that one arm, which makes me think that, okay, we're in a mini hauler, so maybe there's a tractor beam aboard, and the second controls tractor beam, but they only have the single display, so they're really not going to have much control of ship systems. I'm guessing that the second person is going to be a lot more significant in terms of being able to get up out of their seat and go into the rest of the ship, either in the core, because it's the only one we're walking around right now, to access those access points and work with components and keep the ship in working order. But in the other variants, the second person, that front seat is more of a convenience. That second person is going to spend most of their time in the back, either on some kind of research machinery, on some kind of transmitting or recording machinery, or they're going to be arming some kind of equipment or trying to keep components going. There's going to be a lot more for them to do in the back than there is for them to do in the seat.
Now, what about the unmanned turret? Could they take control of that and be, while you're flying using the hard-mounted guns, could they be using that for the unmanned turret maybe?
On the Tana, I would think so, because that second seat, it's already prepped in the core to potentially man the tractor beams. So if they just replace the tractor beam controls with remote turret controls, then voila.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, really cool.
I'm gonna have to disagree with all you guys. When delivering Big Bennies, you definitely need someone to read the orders to you. Hence, all the screens that come down. And
that's a good point.
Yeah, you also need someone to play the Big Benny's theme on loop, and so they're going to be the ones who sit there and hit repeat.
You need a DJ.
That's true. That's true.
You got to have that one guy in the Big Benny's hat in the front canopy doing the Benny's dance.
Yes.
Fire at Quantum.
That's the power.
Yeah.
The shit runs on hats.
We need an AI Lando to come along and knock over the green screen too. That would be awesome.
We just randomly jump across the cargo bay and knock
Yes.
So next question is, we'll come back to this, Miss Tank. But Miss Tank says, Miss Titan K3. I'm working on a financial lender system for Star System. Could y'all give me your opinions and a bunch of Google Docs stuff? We'd have to look through it real careful to be able to actually give your opinions on it. But we'll come back to that after we get some more of these questions. So we'll be back.
She wants to be a loan shark in Star Citizen, is that it?
I think so. Exactly. I don't know. Super Blast. I noticed there aren't many player pirates that go up against in 2.4, probably because of the disadvantage when earning AUEC, and the NPC pirates don't seem to push for fight. Do you think there needs to be change to this, so that we have more actual players to combat against?
So I have a quick answer for that. I think that right now outlaws are going to be a little
sparse,
short-handed, only because they're trying to get that outlaw headquarter location. Once you've got that location where outlaws can go to, like Port Olisar, and you have a place to spend money and you have a place to collect new jobs, that's really going to attract a lot more people to do so, because right now, if you go outlaw, you're you lose access to a lot of stuff. It becomes a lot more complicated to try and do the things you want to do. So I think outlaw headquarters are going to make a difference.
Huge difference.
The NPCs, you may have noticed in 2.3.1, the NPCs don't pack much of a punch. But in the Ivacati test flight, when we had an issue where basically, not enough people, the servers were being hard capped for some reason at 12 players, and I was having 60 frames per second, within the Crusader thing. Those NPCs are a completely different beast, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, I was in my 225A doing what I was doing, going, this is so much fun, wow, look at all the graphics. Went to the ICC3 mission, right? And then 3 of them spawned, 3 Gladiuses. All I heard was brrrr, and all of a sudden my hull was floating in front of me and I was dead. They are deadly accurate. It's just that, with the frame rate issues and stuff like that, they're not quite there. They're being kind of choked by everything else, but that will come with everything else.
They're they're getting better. The NPC pirates are getting better, but as Nighthawk said, basically what we're doing is we're waiting for more of a space where outlaws can outlaw.
Yes,
Pirates.
Port Outlaudisar.
Yeah, Port Outlaudisar. So
we got a bad storm coming through here, so if y'all lose me, I'm just letting y'all know.
Thanks. Thank you, Clifford.
Yeah.
But
Crab hat.
yeah, so that's just we need to have that, and we may just have to suffer through it for a bit. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's a patch, because I don't think that the 2.5 patch will take nearly as long to implement as the 2.4 patch did, just because 2.4 had so much back-end issues. I could be completely wrong. There could be other issues that involved with 2.5, but it may be feature heavy too, so I don't know. But my feeling is that 2.5 will be a little bit simpler now that 2.4 is all implemented and ready to go.
So Super Serious is saying in chat, NPCs are being gradually buffed every patch since Crusader came online. Super Serious, the AI has been worked on and buffed pretty much every single patch since Arena Commander has come out. I remember playing 0.8, and by, what was it, 1.0, I was blown out of the water the first time a Vandal Scythe turned tail in decoupled mode and shot my missile out of the sky.
Yeah.
It happens, and it's going to continue happening. They're constantly working on AI, so you're going to be
And we've got the
all
subsumption
time.
update coming soon, where
Yeah.
not only will AI be doing pre-programmed stuff in pre-programmed areas, but you run away from a pirate at a communications array, they might follow you. They might follow you to where you're going, and then
Hell,
what?
eventually it'll be at a point where you won't necessarily be able to tell the difference between players, because
Holy cow, you could hear that thunder, Clifford.
Yeah.
Clifford, you need to get in the basement, bro.
Yeah, man.
Put that crab hat on; it'll soak up some of the water.
Yeah.
It's going to get to a point where NPCs are going to know that, okay, well, I can't keep up with that vessel. It's going to be able to make a jump a lot better than I can. So instead, I'm just going to wire a call to my buddy in XYZ system at the end of said jump and have them ready and waiting for you. Sorry, guy. That's going to happen.
Yeah, so they're getting better, but I think we'll have more. The other thing is to make sure that just in general.
I just lost sound.
Okay. Let us know. Keep us updated, Cliff. But yeah, we'll get to the point where once it's as advantageous to be a pirate as it does a normal player, you'll get more people to do it. But you also still want to have that fine line where you don't want to make it too advantageous for people who are PvPing or pirating versus people who are not pirating. Because you want to have that kind of borderline, and you still want it to have a lot more risk versus reward with the pirating.
Yeah. Pirating is meant to be like, not everybody. Pirating isn't supposed to be for everybody. It's meant to be. I guess there'll be varying degrees of pirating depending on like where you're going to be a pirate. But for the most part, it is going to be like high risk, medium to low reward, unless like you plan something to go your way or something like that. It's not meant to be easy, and. I think on Source's channel not too long ago this evening, one of the CIG guys was actually asking, what should they do to kind of like make player interactions in PvP more frequent. And then he was talking about things like, there needs to be a reason to go to post Korea to get shot, because right now you only get like 100 alpha EUEC and it's kind of pointless because that's your play. You go there, you get 100 UEC, you die. There's no reward as a pirate so far.
No, there's got to be like a heist system where like if you go into Korea, you're getting some serious like intel, and you have to get out of there before you can get your alpha UEC and maybe return to somewhere else where you can put the give the data up, or like leave a place and have a secure broadcast or something like that. But something like that would make it a very valuable heist, but also be very dangerous, because those people who want to be security guards at Korea might know that this is a very valuable heist and they can get equipment or money from these pirates who get shot, sort of thing.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so you're good, Clifford?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right,
we can hear
good.
you.
Yeah, sorry, my headset went out for a minute. And I had to reattach it because we had a bad lightning strike right beside the house.
Jeez,
Oh,
man!
wow.
If it's dangerous, just get to safety.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Don't turn into Freakazoid in our account, man.
All right. So Darkest Mind asks, "What do you guys think of the Buccaneer from the preview?" I think we talked about that, so we'll move on.
Love it.
We love it. Yeah, for our own reasons. Brazadas421 asks, "How do you like the Revel in York changes? Personally, I'm glad that the wood is almost all gone."
I don't own the hanger anyway.
I think my personal opinion is I like the matting on the bottom where the ships are, where all the work's going to go on. But I think upstairs it still needs to keep that wood. That gave it a real elegant look, and that's the only reason I bought the Revel in York was for the fanciness. So
Definitely.
keep the wood upstairs, and downstairs I love that matte look. You know, that it's like a work area.
It's like a high class work area, but still.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely high class. But the wood was a necessity for the upstairs because now it looks real. To me, it looks just plain.
Besides, if you take it out, then we won't be able to say Revel in York. We've got wood.
Very true.
We've got space wood.
Well, that and what I like about the white floors is eventually, hopefully, they'll add where it can get dirty and stuff like that from your ships coming in and landing and going and stuff.
Yeah, Revel's too clean for me. It's always been too clean. Like I mentioned before, it's like you're walking inside a giant iPhone. It's kind of like, I like the dirty look of the Southland or even the area compared to that.
Yeah,
I spend a lot of time in the VFG hangar.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But I heard that there were changes to Revel in York, and I went and checked it out before. And I've always viewed Revel in York as kind of like the organization headquarters type hangar.
Yeah, kind of.
And I feel like the changes to Revel in York's hangar, structurally, architecturally speaking, really play to that a lot more, where you have the flight control mezzanine level aftmost in the hangar, and yet you still have that room where it's flight controlled. We're going to be making the calls, okay, XYZ, you're clear to take off or come on in, hangar's clear. But off to either side, they have those seating areas, and it's almost like pre-flight lounge, place where you hang out while the crew is down below trying to get all the components up and running and the ship spooled up and cargo put away. Okay, guys, come on down, passengers, you're good to go.
Well, it almost looks like the Revel looks like you would have a bunch of Starliners parked in it too. Like, it'd be like an airport basically. The guests are coming in and we'll get your bags loaded, sir, and we'll get them. That's what it looks like. Have a bunch of
robotic butlers.
Yeah.
Would be awesome.
It's got the second floor up on the front end, and they redid that a bit. So they've taken away some space when you first walk out of the elevators, and they've added it to where the two desks are located. So it feels like a really large office space, but where two separate desks can kind of be bred into their own entity, the way that you can use the port system to throw up different decorations, put plants down on the table, maybe a spaceship model, who knows what. But then you've got the from that deck, you go down to a step tier, down to another lounge display sort of area. And I found that to be a really nice aesthetic change that spoke well to this level being, this is where you come if you're either looking to rent the ship in this hangar, or because you need work, or because you want to pick up a mission that they're trying to give away that they can't handle. This is where you do business. And it's got another area that looked, I think it was off to the left-hand side, where there was another door, a huge door that looked like it would lead into an extension of the hangar or another part of wherever the hangar is located. But I thought it was really well thought out, and it plays to organizations really, really nicely.
Yeah. Alrighty. So the next question is, what is your favorite ship to play in Star Citizen? I'm guessing currently. Do any of you have a favorite
M50.
ship? M50.
The M50, the Origin Jumpworks M50 Interceptor. Yes, very good, very fast.
Super Hornet.
Super Hornet. How about you, Gray?
Freelancer, 100%.
Hot Freelancer. And you, Cliffy?
I still like the the Scout, the alien ship, the most.
Mine's got to be the Vanguard. The Vanguard is one of my favorites, just because it's big, it's mean, it has a lot of firepower, but it's still deceptively maneuverable. It also feels like a ship. Like, it feels like a spaceship, you know? Okay. About the M50, huh? Mr. I'm going to be a gnat, and I'm a leaf on the wind.
Yeah, now the one...
M50, we can dance around your fire.
Yeah.
Those missiles,
no,
before they're armed, we're in together. We're in your aft quarter already. Forget it.
In your aft quarter.
All about the aft quarter.
Whoa!
Go ahead, Clifford.
Oh, I was just thinking, as far as the military ships, a lot of people, I find I've used out of the military ships a lot more. I don't know why. I just like how the mechanics work on it, is the Anvil bomber. For some reason, that broken wing, how they collapse in it, I find that more as my military go-getter, because I don't see many people fly it enough.
Yeah,
I think
the
it's
Gladiator?
The Gladiator bomber. Yeah, I think it's one of those unappreciated military ships, I think, right now.
No,
I don't think it's unappreciated. I think that there's just nothing to really use a bomber for yet. I think once there's like bombing missions, it'll be a lot more useful, a carrier-based bomber than.
But I think it's still more useful than the Super Hornet in the aspects of having two people in that one versus the two people in the other one, because this one, the bubble deal, so you got more rotation around there to really see your target and stuff. I think it's a very nimble two-seater fighter.
But that's also just based on current mechanics in play. I mean, the Super Hornet ultimately, I think, is going to be a very dangerous thing to go up against. It's going to be much like going up against a Vanguard Sentinel, because you've got one person dedicated to the flight maneuverability and basic combat capabilities of the ship, while you've got a second person who's basically taking care of all command necessities. They're doing E-War, they're doing spotting, they're doing tracking, they're doing navigation, they're doing everything. They're major support role. So it's going to put it a whole step ahead of every other Hornet.
Yeah, and it's. I think one of the major things that people forget about is that it's with the Gladiator specifically, is that it has more functionality than just being a bomber. So people forget.
It does, but you already have a fighter for air superiority. So, like, there's really Nighthawk just said, there's really no mechanic for a bomber right now. I mean, if you look at like carrier operations with the U.S. military and how you have fighter groups and bomber groups and stuff. So right now there's there's battle royale, squadron battle, Vandal Swarm, like all ship to ship fighters, but not really much of anything that you could use
I think with more of the. I think more of the when the more of the cap ships come into play, that's when the bomber's going to be really heavily used, because basically you're brushing over a large area ship, so you're going to carpet bomb the top of it as you fly away.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
I think even as soon as the Caterpillar or Karak gets into the game, that's when you'll really have actually, even now with a Starfarer, it's a 4-deck FPS level that's just kind of floating around through Crusader. Why not torp it?
I mean, the other thing is that the stations themselves eventually will be attackable, have their own health systems. So, that might be an interesting mission to add in the future when you have the Port Outlaudisar. You're muted, by the way, Meyer. You muted yourself. There you go. But
it was no accident.
But you could have missions where the security asks you to go run a bombing mission on that port, and you just come in and just blow everything up you can see and get out, sort of thing. So who knows? So the next question is from Kaiser von Miemenstein. CIG want to make occupations fun and challenging, mining for example. How do you think tractor beams and scooping fuel should work? Name one mechanic that makes it fun and challenging for you.
So, tractor beam, that's something that they've already kind of presented to us this week in the Caterpillar update. I think based on what I saw and how they intend to make it work, it's a pretty interesting approach. It's fairly simplistic, and I think it will work really well based on the current mechanics that we already have in place. As far as some of the other things, we know that there's going to be scanning positions, say for mining, and that stuff's going to be extremely important, sometimes even more important than the person on the drill. So there are a lot of things that we have no idea that are coming.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead. Go ahead, Mar.
Oh, sorry. What was I going to say now? Oh, yeah, so the tractor beams, they did go ahead. They touched on that with the around the verse thing with the Caterpillar, like Nighthawk said. If you go check that out, it was a pretty longish video, but at one point he showed there's like a weird circle that's following him around. That will eventually turn into a reticule, and that reticule you'll be able to use and move around in 3D space in order to move things with your tractor beam. As far as tractor beaming itself, I mean, like, I'm just reading the question. As far as tractor beam, using the tractor beam being challenging or fun, I mean, like, fun, yes, because, like, oh, look, there are boxes floating in space. I got to use the tractor beam to, like, kind of scoop them into my belly kind of deal. That would be fun, but challenging, I don't feel like using the tractor beam is going to be something that's going to be, very challenging. But with all the other little things and all the little... all the little occupations and stuff, the way that they've kind of... laid them out on the on all the comm links and stuff, I feel like they will be very involved. Some of them so involved even that you may not even want to do it yourself. I mean, I'm just thinking about the Orion as an example, because like not only are you going to have someone manning the ship in the first place, you're going to have somebody working the refinery, and who knows what kind of mini game that's going to be. Yeah, you're going to have somebody who's also going to be like working with storage and all that kind of thing. I mean, like I was looking to pull it up, that's why I muted myself, but I didn't have enough time. I couldn't find it, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I mean, like, thinking about the Galaxy Starliner as well, there are going to be mini games in and of that. I mean, like, again, it's not going to be like kind of like mandatory that you do it. You can get NPCs to do it, but I feel like there'll be so many different things, so many niches for you to, or niches as you Americans like to pronounce it, just in case they don't know what I'm saying, but there'll be so many things to do that if you don't find something fun, you can always go ahead and do something else. But I feel like there will be a lot to do. It's gonna be great.
Okay. Awesome. Sorry not to rush everybody, but we've got a lot more questions to get through, and we got 6 minutes left. So we may miss some of your questions. I apologize if we do ahead of time. We'll do our best to get through it.
Do the speed round.
Speed round, rapid fire. Question from Your Answer. Do you think CIG might have had some kind of application system for future Evocati-like PTU, group PTU? No.
No applications.
Don't call them, they call you. That's the kind of thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Asnog, the Gemini, do you expect more internal changes from the Starfarer?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's got to. It has less. It's supposed to have less cargo, and the cargo holds the exact same size.
Yeah, and the less cargo is probably going to be taken up with something like extra shield banks or something like that. So
I actually expected a majority of the differences with the Gemini to be external, also component based.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really all that surprised by the lack of difference internally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's supposed to be less cargo space, and they can easily retcon that with some small changes to the ship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all I would do, I don't know. What I would do with the Gemini is I would put some big old like mines in the back of it that detach and roll out the back.
Yeah, something like that. So instead of like it's automatic, like no matter what, you use space that's already covered.
Yep.
I mean,
OABs.
Internally, I think the biggest change I would have made is get rid of the airlock on the bottom deck. I would have replaced that with a munitions...
An armory, yeah.
Or a barracks of some kind.
Not necessarily an armory, but like a reloading station, like in the back of the Freelancer MIS, where you actually physically have to work the machine to load the next set of missiles into the missile launchers before they redeploy. Yeah. So why not have a loader in the front so you can reload the front grill with all those missiles after you fire them off?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Gotcha.
Not Proxys 571 asks, will we be able to buy a game package with no ship in the hangar? You can earn money from the verse without a ship. Can
I hope so.
The hobo package.
Yeah, the hobo package.
I've
they've
been
talked
asking
about
that
it.
question for the longest time because I have a lot of friends who want to be crew, but they don't want their own ship. And every time I ask CIG the same question, the answer that comes back is, I don't know, we haven't decided, but you can always just sell your ship in the game.
Right, and they got to sell the game for a certain amount. So it's like you can't buy Halo and say, "Well, I only want this, so can I have it
I
for
want
cheap?"
single player, so can I have it for $30?
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah,
so-
no ship or no ship, $35. You know what I mean?
I feel that's how it is right now. I mean, like it costs a certain amount of money, but like if you keep it in mind as you're buying your entry into the game, the ship is extra. Yeah.
Next question is from What a Doozy. Would you ever allow Derek Smart to have a guest spot on the stream? Dr. Smart can message me if he wants to have a guest spot on the stream, but this may not be a good place for him because we talk mostly about Star Citizen. So if he wants to talk about his game or anything else like that, he can always contact me about my other podcast, which we'll be bringing back here shortly, eventually called Orbital Rendezvous. But yeah, so probably not. It'd be up to him. He'd have to contact me. Get in my belly asks, are these like Halo bikes you're talking about? And it shows a picture. Yeah. Those are the pictures. Those booster frames. Next question is from King Tut 470. So all the talk about dragonflies makes me wonder if they're going to have drone boats in this game. I think they mentioned NPCs flying escort for you. These, but those are much less expandable if you can build up NPC skill sets. Drones can just get purchased at Dumper's Depot. Yeah.
So I know they've said before that they don't really like the idea of a drone boat per se, but they do have ships like the Orion and the Karak that already come standard with drones on board. Whether or not that changes is left to be seen, but things change with this project all the time.
Yeah. I think more drones and drone spots on ships may be a good upgrade, but I don't think taking over, like maybe having one or two drones that you can work externally to help you out might be nice, but not necessarily always.
Drones, NPC, Merlins, what's the difference, really?
Yeah, well, true. Same thing, same concept. Next question is from Mammon. I think the Reliant is smaller than most people expected, and some were disappointed. I think it's super great, like a Mini Cooper. What do you guys think? Now that you've seen it,
I think I like it.
it's what I thought it was.
I like it. It's perfect.
I like it a lot. The interior.
Hey, Hobbins designed it, so I like it.
Yeah, and it's a starter ship. It's supposed to be small.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's sweet.
long and short of it is a starter ship. It's not meant to be a free.
Yeah, and it's a cool starter ship.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a cool starter ship for the ships compared to like the Beta or the Bankstang, and you can see that like the Bankstang is about the same size, if not a little smaller than the actual Reliant is, even with two people.
It is the entry level ship into the professions with the Omega and with the Mustang and the Aurora variants. It's more like starter ship, some more cargo, maybe some fighting. But with the Reliant, you have starter ship with cargo, science, and then like a news van. And it's not necessarily mining, but it is that next step up to an endeavor. You know what I mean? As in like there might be like another ship coming out that's kind of like the next logical step towards that. But we need more of those ships. I mean, like after this Buccaneer is out, I don't think we should get any more fighters. We need those procedural ships that take you from a starter ship to an Orion. You know what I mean?
More of the jack of all trades type ships, or
yes,
or ships that are designed for a specific thing other than combat. Yeah. Next question is from Human Evil. Do you think the conclusion to all three of the Squadron 42 games will be citizens of the UEE finding out the Vandal was attacked by us and they wanted us to be friends? No.
It's an interesting concept, but it's not really one you can delve into before you've even seen episode 1 of Squadron 42.
Yeah.
Well, but you can kind of, theory craft based on lore that they've been putting out over the comlink, and it wouldn't surprise me if something like that was the case, and this is just someone's political try at gaining more power.
Right.
They really just wanted to use the
Implemented
bathroom,
for-
but we wouldn't let them.
Because they weren't paying customers. They couldn't pay. They couldn't use the bathroom. Yeah, no.
Well, this is one of the biggest problems with the UEE currently, is that there are so many corrupt politicians and leaders that it is falling apart at the seams. This is the end of the empire. So could this be the end of the empire?
Well, I think at the same time, like the Xi'an have been fighting the Vanduul for a long time too, and they are far from being a corrupt empire. So,
yeah,
you know.
but I think it's more of the Vanduul are just kind of a territorial species, culturally and naturally. So if we're overstepping into their territory, that's automatically a challenge. And if we're not stepping down from the challenge, or if we're not properly answering the challenge, then the fighting is just going to continue. So we could have been the ones who started this whole thing. We don't know. But I would love to find out.
Yeah, that's why we're playing Squadron 42. So we've got a lot more questions left, so we're gonna have to skip most of them. I will say that apparently Maddie Sherms and 3 other CIGs are playing D&D for charity starting at midnight tonight in West Coast time, going for 4 hours. And this is the link to it. Let me post it into chat real quickly. So if you guys are interested in helping out charity, some CIG devs for charity, you can always hop on here. There you go, and check them out. That's going to be actually after your midnight or your not so sober Saturday, right, Gray?
Right
Yeah,
after.
that's right after. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I apologize if we missed your questions. We're going to do kind of a quick wrap up. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank all the guests for being here. Let's go around the horn and people can tell us who you are, where they can find you, all this stuff. Starting with Z-Man at the
When we
top.
do the giveaway.
We'll do the giveaway after we finish the.
Okay,
the
cool.
Go ahead.
I am Commander Z-Man, formerly me and my VW. I stream Monday through Friday, 12:30 Eastern Time PM till 2 o'clock PM. I do a daily Star Citizen stream. You can find me at www.twitch.tv/CMDR_Z-Man, and you can be my wingman anytime.
Next is Nighthawk. Who are you? Where are they going to find you?
I go by Nighthawk_Zale everywhere. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch. I'm primarily a Star Citizen gameplay streamer, but I also do game design. I do creative streaming. I'm working on a tabletop game based on Star Citizen that I'm going to present at CitizenCon. Schedule is up in the air right now. New baby in the house, still trying to figure things out, but I'm trying to get back into regular streaming, so stay tuned. Twitter's best way to keep in touch.
Excellent. And then we've got Meyer. Who are you? Where can they find you?
Hey guys, my name is Meyer, of course. You can find me on twitch.tv/Meyer_test. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Meyer, as well as on Twitter at youtube.com/Meyer_test. I do stream I stream Star Citizen. I'm also I've just been cast as a voice actor, one of the voice actors, working with Trendane and Fiendish Feather and Dolvac for the upcoming Bulkheads Star Citizen Machinima. You can find more information about that on Twitter, and that's at Bulkheads _SC. Is it Bulkheads or Bulkheads _SC?
I think it's _SC.
_SC.
Yeah, so Bulkheads _SC. We do have a subreddit that's coming up as well at bulkheads.reddit.com or reddit.com/r/bulkheads, whichever way you want to do that. And keep an eye on that. That'd be really cool. Lastly, I also co-host on a podcast with my friend Darnator called The Fortnightly Frontier, where we talk about Star Citizen. And I'll type that myself.
Excellent. Gray, who are you? Where can they find you?
I am Grayheaded Gamer, and you can find me everywhere. Grayheaded Gamer with an A, Gray. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff. My Twitch stream is sporadic because of my real life job, but I love Star Citizen to death, and when new patches come out, I definitely play, but Minecraft is my number one go-to game because I am a simple-minded man. So,
All right.
Come hang out.
Then down below me, last but certainly not least, Senor
Down
Miku.
below me.
Below. I'm waiting for them to scratch, man. Oh, I hear it.
Mind attack.
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, and I just stream sporadically like Greyhead. You know, I got a full-time job, so I'm kind of sporadic, but I like Star Citizen, anything sci-fi, and simulator stuff, a lot like what Domo does, you know.
Excellent. Myra, I got you. One second. Let me give you permissions. Permit. Now you can do it.
My plug.
Plug.
Yes.
And of course, follow all the links to all of these fine gentlemen's Twitch streams is there. You can find more information about them there. I of course am Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your host here at the Astro Pub. You can find me here Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific, which is, I believe, like 4 or 5 a.m. to like 7 or 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So we're super late for most people, or super early, depending on where you are. And you can always catch the Captain's Table 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, British Summer Time, here at the Astro Pub. Next week we will have... right now we had for sure Captain Flint, and we'll have more people. All of these fine gentlemen are always welcome back on the Captain's Table, but we have new cast every week, so you can always come back and have new perspectives from different people. It's fun, kind of off the cuff sort of environment. So, God, thank you guys all for hanging out with us. Let's draw this winner, and then we'll call it a night.
Hey, Paul, can I just add one thing?
Go for it.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Okay, thanks.
All right, and the winner is Drizzt Do'Urden.
I didn't win?
Drizzt Do'Urden.
Drizzt
Nice.
Do'Urden. Please
Careful.
message. If you're here,
He's
please
a
say
dark
something.
elf. Don't turn your back.
Yeah.
Might stab you.
Drizzt.
Is Drizzt here?
Is Drizzt here?
Say something in chat, Drizzt.
You
You
gotta
won
say
a very
something.
cool prize.
He's verklempt. He's overwrought.
Well,
You can't
it looks
respond.
like
Stream delay. He's
Or
probably
pity.
waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll wait a couple more seconds, and if he's not,
1,000.
Well, I will gladly take his prize from him.
he's got about 10 seconds left. So
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Drizzt. Hurry.
come on, Drizzt.
6,
Do it.
5.
4,
Don't type in chat 2 seconds too late.
2,
Don't do it.
reroll.
Oh,
right.
Is ours. Redraw.
Evo Streams. Congratulations.
Evo Streams.
Evo Streams is a regular Star Citizen
Nice.
viewer, so hopefully he's here. Evo.
Come on, Evo.
Next.
You can do it.
Another Sophie girl.
Sophie Girl says reroll.
There he is.
There he is.
Yay!
Message,
Congratulations, Evo.
message Clifford, aka Miku, and he'll get you hooked up with that.
Yeah, Evo. Yeah, just send me a message, bud, and then we'll Steam Unite, and we'll gift it to you.
Excellent. So, like I say every night, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope to see you guys again soon, but if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good night.
See ya.
Now I gotta actually be on the right screen to do this. There we go.